Oh bitch, oh bitch, where's she at? Where is she at? Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So I do have another story time for you guys. I have been dying to tell this story, and I was actually thinking about this story the other day, and it was just a point in my life that number one, I'm not extremely proud of, but number two was just like so unbelievably ridiculous. So of course I gotta share it with my Glamazons. Thank you guys so much for joining me for story time today. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. Real quick, if you guys are not subscribed to my channel, please don't forget to hit that huge subscribe button to be a part of my Glamazon family, and don't forget to hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on one single story time. You know, girl, the tea is hot on my channel. Definitely subscribe, and if you like this video, please don't forget to give me a huge thumbs up. Now let's get into this story time. I'm actually really excited to tell it. You guys know that this is like my favorite thing to do, is just recount my memories and tell these stories, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. As per usual, before we get into today's story time, today's glamour shot of the day is my gorgeous Glamazon, Kia. Kia, you look amazing. Kia is actually one of my Glamazons that lives in Oklahoma. She is a makeup artist, and I can tell, girl, because your makeup is popping. You look amazing. Thank you so much for tagging me on your Instagram with hashtag #GlamazonShot so that I can see your beautiful face. You look amazing. Thank you so much for loving me and supporting me. You guys know that I would not be here without you, and I could not do this without each and every one of you guys. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now let's get into the video. Oh, that was a quick intro. I'm on my shit today. Yes. Alright, so today I'm actually drinking water. A lot of you guys have been asking why I haven't been drinking alcohol, and it's just, I don't know, man, maybe I'm growing up, or maybe I just like my skin looking glowy and luminous and not dry AF. I get headaches throughout the day, so to combat that, I just feel like if I put good into my body will be good to me. So we just gonna be sipping on this water all cute. This story is actually going to be taking place at my shitty school. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about or have no clue about my past, definitely check out my story times. I will leave a playlist down in my description box below. And if you guys kind of watch those in order, it'll make more sense, and you guys will have a better sense of what time in my life I'm talking about. But this was at my shitty school, which was my second school. If I'm not mistaken, this happened the end of my freshman year. I don't believe that I was a sophomore yet. So if you guys are interested in hearing this story about the time that I jumped a girl, then definitely keep on watching. Okay, hold up. A lot of you guys are excuse me, how the hell could you jump somebody, and you've been preaching on here that that's not the right thing to do, and blah blah. Yeah, I know, as per usual, just hear me out. There's always some sort of twist or some sort of different ending to my stories. I kind of pride myself in that, but it's also because these stories legit just came out of nowhere, and while I was living it, I was like, what? If you guys are what right now, I was like that too, girl. I feel you. So just listen to the end. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. Get your wine, get your snacks, get your everything, girl, because we're about to have story time. Okay, so like I said before, this story took place at my shitty school, which was by far the worst school that I've ever attended in my life, okay? And outside of high school, you guys really don't know much about this, but even my elementary and middle school years, I went to a lot of schools. I moved a lot as a child, and so I just went to a lot of schools, and this school by far was the worst school I have ever set my foot in, and I would never wish it on anybody. Legit, people that are in my personal life that ask me yo, where did that story happen, and I tell them the school, oh shit, I heard about that school. They never have anything to say, because they're oh fuck, that school, that's where you went, girl. And I'm yes, I know, yes. I was 15 years old. I'm going to the shitty school, and this was towards the end of the year, because at this point I had already had friends, I already knew people, I felt very comfortable. Not comfortable, but I just knew this school already, and I wasn't the new kid anymore. This is going to involve quite a few people, so we are going to get started with the girl that is going to be my main issue in this story, and we need to name her. So we will name her Kiana. I don't know why, I just picked it, I don't know why. Now we're gonna get started at the very beginning, how I met Kiana, who she was, and everything like that, okay? So when I first transferred over to my shitty school, as most of you guys know, I transferred in the middle of the year, and I was 15 years old, and I was super nervous, and this school was no joke, okay? Like, this school was just like, you guys, I was stressed out all the time. Like, it was one of those schools that you legit did not know if you were going to fight that day, because it was just like constant. So I had this tactic of just like sitting back and observing the ratchetness, right? So I went there, and that's basically what I did for like the first few weeks, and I made like acquaintances, like people I said hey to, like that I saw every day in my classes, and one of them was Kiana. Okay, so Kiana, let's go into her for a little bit. Kiana had actually been going to this school all year, and she also went to the middle school that the majority of the students transferred from. So that means that she knew people at this school that she had known for years, because she had like gone to elementary school, middle school, and now high school with these same people. So needless to say, she was one of the more popular girls at the high school. Okay, now Kiana was very beautiful, and I noticed this about her right away. She had beautiful curly hair, natural green eyes, and she was just very pretty. She was a pretty girl, and so her popularity mixed with that, her head was real big, right? So she had her place there. She thought she was popping, she was cute, and she really was. And she just had that demeanor about her, like, do you not know who I am, like that kind of shit. So I kind of stayed away from her because I don't like friends like that. And number two, like, usually girls like that are surrounded by a lot of drama. I need not. So like, I never really said anything to her. So I remember the day that I transferred over to the school, and Kiana was actually in most of my classes. Like, she was like a constant in my core classes. Kiana was there. I was the new girl, and like so many of these females just had an issue with me for no reason. Like, they just took one look at me and didn't want to fuck with me, and just like didn't want to be my friend, didn't want to give me a chance. And so I was completely outcasted for the first few weeks, because girls there at that school just were not nice. They just were not nice people. They were not friendly, and I just think that that's super rude. It's super disrespectful, and why would you not want to make like a new friend? Like, why the fuck you being like that? You don't know me. So the minute that I went there, it almost seemed like I was like enemy number one, okay? And it wasn't with anybody else besides like the girls that seemed to be like more popular, or like the super loud girls. Kiana was in a lot of my core classes, so I could not ignore her. There was no way for me to like live my life without seeing her, because she was legit in almost every one of my core classes. Now, upon observing this girl, you know, she was very loud, very boastful, screamed it from the rooftops anytime she had a boyfriend or whatever, and she was one of those girls, okay? Kiana kind of took like a special interest in me, but it was almost like that Mean Girls vibe, where I knew deep down that this girl did not like me. She was pretending to like me for whatever reason, I have no idea, and she just seemed to be too nice to me. And it just was very, there was like a very fine line. Like, she was nice and everything, but she would like low-key jab at me, or low-key like talk shit to me. She would like try to get away with like throwing shade my way, and like trying to embarrass me in front of the whole class. She accused me of my hair not being real, but she like tried to do it in a joking way, or like she would like say shit like that. You could tell that she deep down did not like me, but I didn't want an issue with her because she was one of the more popular girls in the school. This sounds so totally like Mean Girl-ish, and it really was, you guys. You feel like you don't want to rock the boat with this person because they already have their friends, they're already established in the school, and you're not trying to gain more enemies by starting a problem with this girl, right? Her sights were set on me the minute that I transferred over, and she started sitting by me and like asking me a bunch of questions about where I came from, my background, why I moved to Denver, how many boyfriends have I had, do I like anybody in the school. And you know, just from common knowledge and just from observing, I've learned that it's easier to kind of keep your thoughts to yourself, because when it comes to a person that doesn't really like you or have your best interest at heart, more often than not, they will bank that information to use against you in the future. So when she was asking me questions like that, like, have I had a lot of boyfriends in the past? I was like, no. And which was the truth. Like, no, my mom's crazy, no. Do I like anybody in the school? No. And even if I did, it's none of your business. Like, I just did not like let her in to like my personal life and like my personal thoughts. So I was like, no girl, like no. Like I was still trying to be friendly, but like stay in your lane. And I think she kind of felt that pushback from me. And so she and I were like frenemies, like legit. There's no other way to explain this type of relationship besides that word. We were friends, but we low-key did not like each other, and we were just dealing with each other and tolerating each other to avoid further conflict or like have a bunch of drama, right? As the weeks went on, I was making my own friends outside of Kiana, and all of my friends that I was making were basically warning me like, watch her, because she starts a lot of drama, she lies a lot, you know, she's been a part of a lot of fights. The thing about Kiana was she had a lot of drama and she would argue a lot, man. Like she just at the mouth, just like constantly running at the mouth, always had something to say. She was that kind of girl that she just wanted to hype shit up. So instead, like if she had like an issue with you, instead of just bringing it to you and trying to like really work it out between you and her, she would be that girl walking down the hallway screaming all the way 10 feet away and be like, oh, I heard you had a problem, all while walking towards you, so that everyone around in the hallway or within earshot can like pay attention and know what's up and that there's drama. I already figured out her tactic, okay? Her tactic to avoid actually getting into a fight was to do that and to like get all of this attention so that everybody could like create a circle and there's all this hype. Because more often than not, when all of that starts happening, then teachers and staff are notified and they would usually come up and try to break up the whole situation before it became like throwing hands, right? First time that I ever saw that, I will never forget. I don't know what was going on. If I did, I would make this a completely other story time, but this is just an example of what type of person Kiana was. So I remember that Kiana had an issue with this girl that legit, we'll call her like Taylor. Taylor did not play, okay? I don't know why Kiana came at her like that. I don't know why Kiana even thought this was a good idea. But one day after school, I was at my locker and I'm packing my backpack and I'm about to go to the buses, right? And there's this girl and she has like a locker down the hall from mine. I don't have any classes with her, but I've heard of her. Like I have friends that are friends with her. She never bothered nobody. She was just very chill, and like you could just tell her demeanor was just like, don't fuck with me. Like don't come at me. Like just leave me alone. She just did not want to be a part of anything, okay? Out of nowhere, you guys, I hear Kiana coming down the hall. I heard that Taylor got a problem, so I'm gonna go talk to Taylor right now. Taylor, where are you? Taylor, coming around the hallway like that, so fucking loud, so unbelievably obnoxious, coming around the hallway. So I'm sitting there at my locker and I like close my locker like I'm not gonna be here for this. So it's just Taylor and I in this hallway with Kiana coming around the corner talking about Taylor, Taylor, where are you? Like she's just like crazy, batshit crazy, okay? So Kiana comes down the hall. About halfway down the hall, she stops, because she's not one of them to go right up to you, okay? She stops and starts yelling and whoop-de-whoop-de-woo in her hands and clapping, and I heard you had a problem, I heard you had something to say. Meanwhile, her little friends are sitting there like basically trying to make the whole situation worse by being like, she don't want to fight, come on Kiana, just let her go, she don't want to fight, she just wants to talk shit, she ain't shit, she ain't gonna do nothing. And so they're all talking shit while Kiana's just sitting there like, telling Taylor like, oh, I heard you had something to say, with her like her little minions talking shit. It was the most ridiculous thing I had ever seen in my life, basically, in a nutshell, okay? The next thing that Taylor did was the most thug life savage thing I've ever seen anybody do, okay, ever. And Kiana was not the type of person to come at you solo. She will always bring her entourage and her little friends to break it up just in case it gets a little too real. That was always her tactic. That was always the same theme every time she got into a fight, okay? So I'm sitting there, I'm basically like a flower on the wall because I don't want anything to do with this, and I honestly don't even know what the hell's going on. Only issue is that I feel like I'm a little bit boxed in because on one end of the hallway there's Kiana and on the other end of the hallway there's Taylor, and they're basically standing off. So if I like walk in the middle of that, I'm just trying to get by, I'm just trying to, don't even mention it, okay, bye. At this point, at this very moment, all of these girls 5 of them. 4 of Kiana's friends and Kiana was yelling at Taylor, and they're like yelling, cussing her out, calling her every name in the book. She was not about this life, okay? Now at this school, at this shitty school, our lockers did not have the combination locks that are installed in the lockers. We had to bring our own combination lock. It came completely out of the locker for you to open it. All of a sudden, I hear Taylor close her locker. Instead of actually closing her combination lock, this girl took it off of the latch and closed it and put it around her finger and like hooked it around her finger and let the lock just sit right here. Balled up her fist so there's just a big lock right here. And she was like, any of y'all come at me, y'all gonna get hit with this in the face. Do it. As they were yelling, they were like stepping closer and closer to her like they were gonna jump her. And she for real just had that lock and she was like, I will start swinging. I don't know if Kiana was just trying to act like she was like all hard, but Kiana was like, you ain't gonna do nothing. And she stepped forward and Taylor started and just started swinging her hand around. She looked at Kiana, she was like, if you have a problem with me, you can come and talk to me face to face. But if you want to come over here with all your friends, all y'all gonna get fucked up. She starts backing up. And it's because Taylor's losing her shit with the lock in her hand. And so she starts backing up. Her friends are like, she ain't even worth it. So at this point, nobody has paid any attention to me. But I saw that. I saw the type of person that Kiana was in that moment. And she just was the type of person that she would bring all of her friends to try to intimidate you and bully you and possibly jump you just cause. So that happened around like my first month of being at this school. So like it was shit like that that I was witnessing, and I was like, this is so beyond cray, okay? Like girls be losing their minds in these hallways, like they don't care. Like I said, she and I maintained like this frenemy relationship, keep your enemies closer type of thing, and that was working out just fine. I was able to have my own friends and I was able to stay out of the drama for the most part with Kiana. So, just talking about this girl, get your snacks, girl, get your snacks and your wine, girl. There was an iPod that I had, okay? Now this was back in the day. So that Christmas, I got a brand new red iPod Nano, okay? I was the shit. Anyway, so I had just gotten this new iPod. It had all my songs on it, really important photos of like me and my brother. And at the time, I wasn't seeing my brother that often because he was still in Texas. So I remember one of the biggest issues that I had with this entire situation was that there were photos that I just loved so much that were on that iPod that I didn't have access to. Fast forward, and this was like towards the end of the year. And I remember it was like my English class, and Kiana was there, of course, because she had most of my classes. And this day, our teacher was going over Ebonics and I forgot what else, and then we were going to be watching a movie, and then we had to like write down on a sheet of paper like what type of verbiage they were using and things like that. So he popped in a movie. Of course, the minute that people hear movie, like they're like, oh, we ain't gotta work today, and so everybody just like starts getting real comfortable. The teacher was really cool and allowed us to just like sit wherever for the duration of the movie, and then once the movie's over, you go right back to your seat, right? So for some reason on this day, Kiana came and sat right next to me on my left. We had the desks that like have the arm right here, and then it like extends out into like the desk, so it looks like an L. So those are the types of desks that we had. So on the right side, it was like blocked in, and then on the left, that's where you get in and out of the desk, right? So that was like open on my left. So usually when you have desks like that and you sit down and you take off your backpack, where do you put your backpack? On your left, right next to you, right? And some of my other friends come and sit around me, and we're like chilling, and we're so excited, we're gonna watch this movie and like no work, woohoo kind of thing, right? So fast forward about an hour, we watch this entire movie, and then our teacher gives us enough time to finish our document before the end of class. Now this class was my second period, and we had 4 classes in a day. So the second class, right after our second class of the day, it was our lunch period. So I was really like excited and hungry, girl. So I was like, yes, like this class is about to end and I can go hang out with my friends for lunch, right? And I just remember looking over at one point and just not seeing Kiana there no more. Like she just moved real quick, and like she was gone, right? And she was sitting at her own desk. Fast forward, we get our worksheet done, whatever, it's super easy, and then we turn in our worksheet, the bell rings, and we're off, right? So I grab my backpack and I head out for lunch. Now, as you guys know, I have my girl, my home skillet biscuit, Alicia, and at this time, she and I were still best friends. So we were gonna be meeting up for lunch. Because we were freshmen, we couldn't leave school, so we had to have lunch in school. So I would always meet up with her at her locker, right? And she would always take forever because her second period was gym and she had to change out of her clothes and do all of that, right? So I always ended up waiting for her. So during this time, while I was waiting, I would always pull out my iPod, put my music in, and just wait, right? I went over to our locker because Alicia's locker was like right near mine. So I go to my locker, I drop off my stuff, and I go to find my iPod so that I can listen to my music while I'm waiting for Alicia to get out of class. And I look in my front pocket, and my iPod isn't there. And so immediately I'm like, okay, don't freak out. Like it could have just slipped somewhere, like whatever. So I open up the big part of my backpack and I'm rummaging through and looking through my folders and my textbooks and like looking through my lockers. I check the pockets of my jacket in my locker. And by this point, I'm freaking the fuck out because my mom does not play when it comes to really expensive things. If I lose this and I don't come home with it, my mom is going to beat my ass. Rummaging through everything, and I'm like, at this point, like I'm just like throwing shit out of my locker trying to find this iPod that just magically disappeared. And I saw it right before my English class. I literally saw it because I had it out because I would put it in my ears and like listen to music during my passing period. Music got me through high school, like it really did. I listened to music every single chance I got. I knew for a fact that I had my iPod and I stuck it in my backpack right before second period. So where the hell is my iPod? I'm like rummaging so hard, you guys, that I don't even notice that Alicia's standing right there and she's like, girl, what's the matter? And I was like, I can't find my iPod. Like, where the hell is my iPod? As most of you guys know, Alicia lived by me at this time, and she and I rode the bus together like every day. And she saw me with my iPod that morning at the bus stop. She was like, I know that you have it. It's here somewhere. And I was like, I'm telling you, it is not here. Like, I don't know where it's at. Like, what the fuck? I like legit sit down, you guys. I'm so desperate to find this iPod. I sit down on the hallway floor and I like empty out my backpack and I'm like rummaging through everything and the iPod is not there. I just could not understand. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go right back to class. That's the last place I saw it. Maybe it like fell out on the floor. Maybe my teacher has it. Who knows? I go back to class and I'm like frantic, you guys. And I just saw my teacher sitting at his desk by himself and he's like going through papers. And so like I didn't even say anything to him. I just walked into the room and I'm like looking on the floors and he's like, hey, Nikki, like everything okay? Like, do you need help? And I was like, no. I was like, have you seen a red iPod? And he was like, I can't say that I have. Did you have it out during class? And I was like, no. I said, I had it in my backpack and it's just not there anymore. And he was like, well, he's like, you can go check lost and found in the office or whatever. And there was just like, at the end of the day, my iPod was gone. And like, I could not understand the sequence of events, how or why or where it's at, because I saw it in my backpack. I'm not crazy. I saw it. I seen it in my backpack. So where the hell is my iPod? The bell rings for third period. If you're not either in a classroom or in the cafeteria, you will get like a warning or whatever, or get written up for just wandering the halls if you don't have like a hall pass. So she was like, we need to go. So we go to the cafeteria. And you guys, I can't even think about anything else. Like, I'm so unbelievably upset. And like, I'm racking my brain like, how the hell is my iPod gone? Like, it's one of those things where you just saw it. Like, you know in your heart where this thing is. You know where you saw it and you know you're not crazy, but it's not there. The bell rings and it's the end of lunch A and the beginning of lunch B. So there are different kids coming and going, right? So I see some of my friends coming in for B lunch, and Alicia and I already have our table, obviously, and we're just chilling. And so we would chill with our friends from A lunch, and then they would leave, and then our friends from B lunch would come and chill with us. Now, one of my friends, we will name her Selena, and I believe that I've actually talked to you guys about her before. She was one of my really, really good friends. She wasn't my best friend, but she was a really, really good friend that I met at my shitty school. Selena and a few of our other friends came and sat down, and our table was fuller for lunch B than it was for lunch A. And so we had like a bunch of our friends, and so of course I start talking to my friends about what the hell is going on, because I'm obviously like not mentally there, and all of them were just like, hey, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not okay, because my iPod is gone. I don't know where it's at. And so I start telling this story to my friends. I'm like explaining all of this, and the whole time Selena's just sitting there, and I just see her like almost like trying to recount something in her head. And she was like, what color was your iPod? And I was like, it's red. I was like, it's a small iPod Nano. And she was like, and it's red? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay. And I was like, why? And so like I'm like, girl, fucking spill it. Like, tell me what you're thinking. Like, let me in to that brain of yours. Like, what? Tell me. And so she was like, I'm not trying to start nothing. And I was like, I'm not telling you that you're trying to start nothing, but if you know where my iPod's at, like, please just tell me. And she was like, well, I don't know if it's yours, because like anybody could have that iPod. And I was like, okay, but like, why would you bring it up? I said, who do you think has my iPod, Selena? And she was like, I don't know. All I know is that on the way to lunch, I saw Kiana by her locker with her friends looking at a red iPod, and I just thought that it was like a cute iPod, and I noticed that it was red, and like, I don't know if you guys have the same iPod. Immediately, you guys, it was like a film reel in my head where I legit remembered seeing Kiana sit her funky ass right next to me on the left side of me where I had my backpack on the floor, and it's such a coincidence that right after that my friend sees her at her locker with a red iPod Nano. Oh bitch, where is she at? Where is she at? If I go to the principal and I give this girl a heads up that I know that she has my shit, all she can do is give it to somebody or throw it away and say that she doesn't have it. Why the hell would I do that? Kiana is not in the cafeteria. I later come to find out that day that she decided to spend her lunch with all her friends in the computer lab in the library. And so once you're in the cafeteria, they would not let you out into the main hallways because you had no business or whatever, and they didn't want just students roaming. So I could not leave the cafeteria to go to the library to go confront her and try to find my iPod. So legit, you guys, I had to just sit there knowing that this girl has my iPod and has my shit that she stole from me, and I just have to just sit there and like just like no, and just like not do anything. I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown. Like, I cannot believe that this is happening. Me sitting there was the wrong idea, because if I sit there and I think about a situation for too long, I get so upset and I get so fucking mad, and I just get more and more angry. And so the more I was sitting there, the more I was like, how dare she? What the fuck? You stole from me? You stole my shit? Legit, you guys, I went to the door, the cafeteria door. So the minute that bell rang, I was through those doors. I was on a mission to find Kiana. Selena had gym class with her for 4th period. So Selena was on lunch with me. So she was like, well, I know where she's going to be next period. She has gym. And I was like, oh, is that right? So you guys, the minute that the bell rang, I just left my friends behind. I didn't say anything to them. I bolted. No questions asked. I ain't got nothing to say. I'm about to see this hoe face to face and ask her why the fuck she would steal my shit. I guess gym class is where it's gonna be, bitch, because I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. Like, stealing from somebody is like the lowest of low. Like that, you really must not respect that person to steal from them. The closer that I was getting to that gym, the more of like this rage I was feeling. It wasn't even anger at this point. It was rage because I was tired. I was tired of being fucked with at this school. I was tired of being involved in shit. I was tired of the drama. I was tired of these bitches fucking with me. At the end of the day, I'm tired of all y'all fucking with me. So y'all gonna learn today what happens if y'all decide to steal from me or fuck with me. Now, I had gym that year too, so I know exactly where the girls' locker room is. So obviously the girls are gonna be in the locker room first to change into their gym outfits. I opened up that locker door and I stepped inside and I said, "Where's Kiana? Where's Kiana at?" And so I'm like looking around and I'm like looking around lockers, and it was like 3 different aisles of lockers. So I'm like walking down, looking down every aisle. "Where's Kiana? Have you seen Kiana? Where's Kiana at?" And you guys, I just hear a locker shut and feet pattering and going to the bathroom, and I hear a stall door shut. One of my friends that was in that gym locker room was like, "Girl, she just ran to the bathroom. She just ran over there." And there was like a bathroom to the side of like the locker room, right? So I like run over there and I'm like, Kiana, come out here." Like everybody in there got quiet, you guys, and like all of the girls in the locker room like came around the bathroom. One of the girls that was standing at the mirror, she was like, "She's in that stall right there." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Not only are you gonna steal from me, but now you're gonna run and fucking lock yourself in a stall because I want my shit back?" She didn't say nothing. She would not come out of the stall. I lose my entire mind, all of it, and I start raging the fuck out, and I start kicking and punching and hitting the stall door, telling her to get the fuck out of there and give me my shit back. "Kiana, get out." And I was like, "Come on, come out. Get your ass out here and give me my shit back." I'm like going at this stall, okay? And I'm like fucking fighting with this stall, and like she is not coming out. She's not saying nothing. She's not denying anything. She's completely silent, okay? And I was like, oh my God. So like after like a good solid minute of me losing my shit and like kicking the fuck out of this stall, I'm surprised that I didn't kick that door in. I don't know how I didn't. All of a sudden, Selena walks up to me because this is her gym class, and she walks up to me and she was like, "Her stuff is out here, come here." So like she like grabs me by the wrist and is like, "Come on." And so like she like pulls me out and I'm like, no, I want her to fucking give it to me. And so Selena was like, "That's not gonna happen. She's not coming out of the stall. I know where her shit is. Let's just go look." And I was like, "Fuck you." So I just start cussing her out. And she takes me right to Kiana's locker and her backpack. And her backpack was sitting on the bench that was right in front of the locker. So I did not give a fuck. I did not care. I put my hands all up in her backpack, you guys. And I was not nice about it. I was not nice about it. I'm not gonna lie. I was not nice about it. I was pulling shit out and throwing it across the room. Her papers, throw them. Her textbooks, throw them. Papers, textbooks, pencils, calculators, like everything that she had in her backpack, just throwing it all across the room. And everybody's just watching me. I'm like losing my shit. And I'm pulling her stuff out and I'm throwing it across the room. In her front pocket of her backpack, my iPod Nano. And I turn it on and it's a picture that I put on there, so it's definitely mine. So I grabbed that shit and my headphones and I wrapped them up, put them in my pocket, and I left, okay? Because I still had exactly 1 minute to get to my next class, my 4th period class. So I was like, oh my God. So all I wanted was my damn iPod back. I'm running full speed. My science class was all the way across the school, and I'm running full speed down the hallway trying to make it on time. I made it there with like 15 seconds to spare. I got into my chair. I'm out of breath. I'm red. My hair is everywhere. My hands are all red. And then class started. So I like made it to class on time. Everything was fine. I just needed to calm down. And Alicia was in my science class, so she sees me running in and she's like, "Oh shit, like, are you okay?" And I was like, "I got my iPod back." And I grabbed my iPod and I showed it to her and I was like, "I found it in her backpack, like she stole it from me." Fast forward about a half hour and it was like halfway into my 4th period class, and it was like right near the end of the day. So my teacher was like, "Nikki, you're needed in the principal's office." Immediately I look over at Alicia and I was like, I know that after stealing my iPod, that this girl did not just go to the principal on me. Like, I know she did not just do this. So I was like, okay. So I had no problem. I was like, fine, you want to go to the principal? I will be more than happy to tell him that you stole my shit. So let's go. I go in the principal's office, and to my surprise, Kiana's not there. But there's another girl in the principal's office. We will name her Tamara, okay? Tamara was a very small person. Like, she was like 5 foot maybe, and like she was just very, very little. But this girl, you could just tell, I knew her. Like, I had like 2 classes with her. The funniest girl you'd ever meet, but don't try her. She was like that kind of person. Like, she would be the greatest friend that you'd ever have, but don't try her, right? I saw Tamara in the principal's office, and she looks at me, and I'm looking at her, and she's like, you got in trouble too? And I was like, I guess. And the principal was like, Nikki, will you have a seat? So he made me have a seat next to Tamara. So like, she and I are sitting there like, okay, what are we involved in? Like, I don't understand. So at this point, I'm so confused. And the principal starts talking, and he says, we got a report that the 2 of you were trying to jump one of the students here by the name of Kiana, and he said her last name. He was like, is that true? And you guys, I just couldn't help myself. I could not help myself. I was like, wait, what? Like, you got a report that me and Tamara were trying to jump Kiana? Like, what? And I just did not know how this turned into me and Tamara. Kiana came here and reported that you and Tamara came and tried to jump her during 4th period. And I was like, that's not true. So he looks up our attendance on his computer, you guys, and he was like, all right, Nikki, we're gonna go through yours first. And so he looks at the attendance, and he was like, says that you were there. And I said, because I was. And so he looked at Tamara, and he was like, let me look at yours. Both of us were marked present in our 4th period class. And Tamara and I just sitting there looking at the principal like, I don't know how you think that this could happen, and how she and I could have been jumping somebody in 4th period when we were both in separate classes. He said, you know, according to this, you guys were in class. He was like, so for now, you guys are okay, but if I find out that y'all are bullying anybody or jumping anyone in this school, we have no tolerance for that, and you will be suspended. And I was like, that was like the only way to prove our innocence, was whether or not we were in our 4th period class. Tamara and I leave the office together, and like we're like about to go back to our 4th period class. And so we walk out into the hallway, and I was like, do you know what that was about? And she was like, yeah. And she was like, do you? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, did you have a problem with Kiana today? And I was like, yeah, I did. I was like, she stole my shit. I was like, I lost my shit, found my iPod, grabbed it, and left. And she was like, really? And she was like, I must have gotten there legit like seconds after you. And I was like, why? I went in there because I had gym class before that. She was like, and I left one of my folders in the locker in there. She was like, so I went into the locker room. She was like, and apparently, I guess, I don't know what happened, but Kiana's stuff was all over the floor, and I stepped on one of her papers, and she tried to fight with me about it. Yeah, so she like started trying to get all loud with me, and I told her that it was an accident. She was like, it was the dumbest thing that I've ever been involved in. She was like, but I'm not about to let her talk to me like that. She was like, so we started fighting. She was like, but it was just an argument. I told her, fuck you. She was like, I left and went to my 4th period class. And I was like, she was like, I don't even know why the hell all her shit was all over the floor anyway. And I was like, girl, I was like, when I lost my shit, I went through her backpack and I threw her shit all over the place. And she was like, oh, she was like, so yeah, I got there after you. The messed up thing is that Tamara got dragged into this, and she wasn't even going into that locker room with the intention of fighting Kiana. I'll be real and I'll be straight up right now. I did go into that locker room with the intention of fighting Kiana because Kiana stole my shit. So of course, I went in there guns blazing. Tamara didn't. She just went in there to try to get her shit, accidentally like got mixed up in all of this, and now we were both accused of trying to jump Kiana. And I was like, don't steal from people, okay? So now that I think back, it was just like stupid situations like this that like made me not want to go to the school, and just made me feel like I was always so anxious and so on edge because people there would just like steal and fight and just make up shit and rumors. So that is the story about the time that apparently I was trying to jump somebody. I mean, I don't know how, but yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story. If you did, please don't forget to give me a huge thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. Also, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, channel. You guys already know the drill. I would love to have you guys a part of my Glamazon family, so don't forget to hit that huge subscribe button, and also don't forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified of every time I upload a video, because you know YouTube be trying to play people. Thank you guys so much for coming to chill with me for story time. Leave your thoughts and your experiences down in the comment section below. I love reading them. You guys make my day and my week and just my whole life, so thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with your girl. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out.